Hey everybody, it's Zericc. I wanted to make a video about purchasing a walking pad. A lot of people are working from home in the last few years. This is certainly something that I have been interested in quite some time. Being able to get a bit of walking in at home while you're doing something else is quite an appealing prospect. But when I have been looking for a walking pad to purchase, it's been quite a nightmare for me. So I wanted to share a little bit of my experience about what this has been like, and hopefully it resonates with you if you're also looking into this. So the first thing I want to say is that there are absolutely far too many walking pads in the market. I don't know why it is that there is such an explosion of these devices. Their price ranges from everywhere from like $100 to over $1,000. That doesn't make any sense because it's a pretty simple device, and I can't see any reason why you would have one that would cost $100 and you would have one that would cost $1,000. It's a small treadmill that goes between 2 and 6 kilometers an hour, or miles per hour, what have you. There's really no reason for it to vary that wildly, and I can't tell what the actual sticker price different, like what they're selling that's different as far as all these goes. Some of them integrate with an app, some of them don't integrate with an app, some of them slightly incline, and some of them don't incline. None of that makes any sense when it comes to a price range of 90%, or 900% or what have you, right? Doesn't make any sense. So one of the next things I want to mention here as far as purchasing a walking pad is that if you go to Amazon, this is one example of trying to purchase this. There are a bunch of different sellers, brands you can see here, that are available to you. And if you look here, these are not household names. None of the actual companies that are listed here are companies that you would recognize. That even if you go to the gym regularly, that you're going to have seen on the materials at the gym. And it's because a lot of these don't really exist, right? So one of the things I've noticed, if you go to, like, we have one here, Erevo, right? If you look that up, it's an actual company, has a website. They sell treadmills on their website, so it does exist. The prices are going to be different than what you would see on Amazon. But then we go to the next, or another one here, Vevor. Again, just like made up nonsense. These folks, they sell. It's a retailer. It's like a Home Depot or something that sells stuff that you can buy, like tools and whatnot. It's not a sporting goods place, and so it's really hit and miss. A lot of these, they're not going to have a website. They don't exist. There's nothing you can find about them. They have no brand loyalty. They have no history of products that you could actually meet someone who's purchased it. They're just pumping out a rebranded treadmill that's manufactured somewhere. And they can essentially close down shop, and you're stuck with a crappy device that doesn't do anything for you, right? So I have experienced a significant frustration trying to parse what's real and what's not real. What companies actually exist and don't, which things are just rebranded things from one company versus another. And it's a process where I have thought about purchasing a walking pad several times and simply just close the browser, because I don't feel like there's any way for me to figure out where the actual reality of it all is, or where I'm purchasing from a place that is an actual manufacturer that makes these kinds of goods and that people want to purchase from generally. There are, and I don't have any video for this, unfortunately, but I do want to mention, when you go into the reviews, right? There's like a lot of reviews for some of these, right? When you go into a lot of these reviews, there are people who will say, it's great. There's a lot of, one line reviews that say, oh, I really love this, right? Tons and tons of those. And then there are ample reviews on almost every walking pad that's listed that says, I got this out of the box and it didn't work. Or the only way to turn it on is with the remote control, and the remote control batteries die every few days, right? And there's all of these tiny problems that could stack up, which would mean you're in for a nightmare back and forth with the seller, trying to get a refund or trying to get a working version of the product that you're buying. And I do not want to sign up for that. There's nothing about this where I want to have a back and forth with the person I'm purchasing it from. I want to buy a walking pad that's going to work for a while, like for, I think a reasonable amount of time for it to work, depending on how many hours I put in on it. And then I never ever want to think about the person that I purchased it from ever again, right? I want it to be, I want it to deteriorate within a reasonable amount of time for a product like this, right? And I certainly don't feel like that's what's going to happen when I purchase from essentially any seller on Amazon. It's the same if I look at a lot of other retailers, right? Best Buy, those sorts of things, where you can find these online. One of the other things I want to mention, if you go to almost any of these, like, look at these pictures here. You'll notice a lot of these pictures. It's almost all women here, photoshopped onto a walking pad. Like this is not an actual pic. This is a picture of a woman running, photoshopped on top of this treadmill. Right. This handlebar is like if you're a full size human being, comes up to like your mid thigh. Right. Here, it makes it look like it's, you know, as high as this woman's chest essentially, but it really just comes up to your mid thigh if you're like, unless you're exceptionally short, right? And so a lot of these are pictures of regular people who are, they're shrunk down to make the pad look really long, right? When they're not, they're about like a lot of them are essentially just only a meter long, right? So you have to take a lot of them pretty small steps, and you can see that in videos of it when you find them elsewhere, if you can find the videos. And the dimensions are all over exaggerated in the pictures, right? So all of the pictures that you see here, they're all scams essentially, right? They're all trying to make it seem like this is a big pad, you know, it's pretty reasonable price. It's going to be, it'll work for you at a desk, but the desk here is like, this is like a child's desk essentially in size, right? And the image of this woman is shrunk down so that it it looks like it would all be reasonable size, right? But it's like clown sizes of all of the things in these pictures, right? Now, I searched a lot trying to find, you know, like reviews of these things online because a lot of the companies don't exist and the products are made up, right? And their names are made up. They're just like out of thin air. There is no review on the written reviews online for any of it, right? And any of the written reviews you do find, it's a list of the top 10 for, you know, whatever year you're in. And it's just an ad, right? And the article writer makes money when you purchase it through the article. So those are ads, right? The next thing I notice, if you go over here to YouTube, right? There's a lot of YouTube ads, right? For treadmills. Some of these were slightly more helpful. I thought there were some people on YouTube. A lot of them are just ads, right? Top, you know, best cheap walking pads, Amazon 300 and less. I watch this. It's all just ad copy, right? The person in the video is just reading ad copy about all of these, and it's just a video version of the top 10 article where they get referral revenue. So that is also exceptionally frustrating because there's no way to actually get any information about the products unless you purchase it, right? And then unless you sign up for this potential back and forth where you don't really know what you're getting, right? And that's my story. I have found this whole process extremely frustrating. I know that if you've come to this video, you've probably also found it extremely frustrating as well. And my suggestion, as far as like what's the best walking pad to purchase, is don't purchase a walking pad. Just get a gym membership because at least, you know, gyms are a real thing you can actually go to. And if a community center gym might not even be that expensive. So that's my recommendation coming out of this video. Hope it helps. If you've had a similar experience to me, please put it in the comments and we can share our terrible experience with these horrible companies. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye.